Hi everyone, so today's Fab Find Friday is these decorative brads from the Dear Lizzy collection. These were in a previous haul video. I talked about purchasing these from Spotlight and I was pretty excited, but being so beautiful I'm very reluctant to jump in and use them, so I've had a go at making some of my own. So I've just got these plain brads that I've added some liquid pearls and Nouveau Crystal drops to, but I'm going to show you that process now. So I chose larger brads, and basically it just gives it a bigger surface area to add the liquid pearls or the Nouveau Crystal drops to. And the reason I tried two different products is I wanted to see whether it made a difference, and they were both very similar in the way that they went onto the top of the brad. You could use smaller ones if you have good control, hand control over these items, but you know, if you do struggle a little bit, then the bigger brads would be useful to use. And the other thing is I find that I use the smaller brads a lot more. The bigger ones, I tend to think that they appear bulky on a project, and I always sort of wondered what I would do with them, and I think this way it sort of makes them look a little bit more delicate and detailed. So I'm just getting something to unblock those Nouveau Crystal drops. This is a new craft item for me. I've only been using it for a few weeks, and I'm finding that it does get blocked a fair bit. I've got a really fine pin that I poke down the nozzle, but if you have any tips for how to keep them unblocked rather than having to unblock them every time, please do leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. So I'm just adding those to the tops of the pins, and you can see they sort of, you know, quite interesting now. I had some silver ones and some black ones that I used as well. And then I'm pulling out some papers from My Mind's Eye. It's the Quite Contrary collection, and it was a free gift that I got in the card making magazine years ago, and you can see I've used a fair few of those papers, but I'm using this particular paper which has a floral pattern on it, and I found that my Kazaz scalloped punch actually fits the flower perfectly, so I was able to cut those flowers out without actually having to do the fussy cutting. And then I'm just going to pierce the center of the flower to add one of those brads that I created, and to use the surface I'm using to pierce it is just a mouse pad that's flipped so that the foam side is facing up. So much cheaper than purchasing, you know, a proper tool for that. You can just use the back of a mouse pad. So that creates that brad there, and you can see that little sheet of brads is already me having a go at creating or recreating some of those Dear Lizzy brads, those decorative brads. So I just have this bunch of papers. I tend to, you know, if I enjoy certain papers together, I think the colours look really good. I tend to keep them in a bit of a sleeve, some of my scraps. I do have a scrap drawer where I just dump scraps, but if I've sort of worked on a project and I think that those papers match well together, I will keep them together in a pocket or a sleeve, so that if I want to do something that, you know, I'm looking for coordinated papers, I will pull it out again later. So that was the first brad. The second one is the banners that you can see at the bottom right of the Dear Lizzy packet, and you can see that I've already recreated some of those. But it is literally just cutting strips of paper and then choosing coordinated papers to create the square at the top. I'm not really measuring too much. I'm just using the original strip of paper to measure, and I think it was about 1 centimetre wide, and then the square at the top ends up being a 1 centimetre by 1 centimetre. So just then piercing a hole. I don't even glue them together, although you could first if you wanted to, and then just choosing one of those coordinating brads to pierce through the tip, and that creates that banner. And you could do that in any colour you wanted to. I chose the colours of the papers based on the colours that I had for the liquid pearls and the crystal drops. So just now, see, it's such a small scrap of paper that, you know, you could throw out, but we're able to use it for this kind of project. So I'm just creating a few more, and I just wanted to cut a straight line. I'm not great at cutting straight lines, so I didn't measure. I really did just use it to cut a straight line. And you can see here I'm using my grid mat to just cut it in half as well, making sure they all line up, which I obviously haven't done it perfectly in half. And then looking at creating this is looking at creating that sort of pinwheel one that's on the top left of the Dear Lizzy brads. And I also have the brads on the far left of screen. They're sort of decorative brads, and they came from Daiso, so they were $2.80. We have a store here in Australia called Daiso, and it's a Japanese store, I think, and they have pretty much most things in store for $2.80. So I'm freehand cutting the curved shape in those pieces, and then just piercing the hole, and then I'll go ahead and use that one as a template to cut out others. So you can see I've got a dark pink and a light pink, and I think the patterns are pretty similar except for the tone of pink, and I'm going to go ahead and cut out those, and I'm sorry that's off camera a little bit, but you can see that it's really quick and simple. I was just doing it freehand. The Dear Lizzy collection of the brads at the top there, it's very sort of organic and free flowing, so it was really simple to cut out and quite quick to do. And then I just layer those up where I want them roughly. I didn't stick them down, so when I adhere this to a project I will have to kind of readjust. And then I just choose a yellow paper, which is from the same collection as those two pink ones, so that will coordinate well. And again, I just freehand cut a wavy banner to go over the top. So, and literally just, look at it and do it by eye, and then add it and think, is it too long, too short? Obviously it's better to leave it too long, and then you can trim it down if you need to, and then just cut the fishtails at each end, pierce it in the middle, and then choose a coordinating brad to go with it. So really quick and simple techniques to try and recreate these Dear Lizzy brads. They're beautiful, and mine will not look the same, of course, but they will still work on projects, and I could do it with different colors, and yeah, really enjoyed creating these brads. So I definitely encourage you, if you've got some brads floating around, to give it a go. You could go online and have a look at a picture of it and recreate them yourself. Particularly like the words that are there, and the ones from Daiso do actually have some words on it. But I found that I had a huge brad collection, and I haven't been using them lately. I guess things like enamel dots and flare have kind of taken over the trend of brads, and so I was hoping that this might be a way that I would get my brads out and start using them again. So I have used them on a project since, which is exciting to know that I'm starting to use them a little bit more. And yeah, so definitely encourage you to have a go at these if you have the chance. I think I'm also just punching some circles for the next one, so just punching a scallop circle out and adding the brad to the middle, and then I'm going to add some pennants or sort of ribbons that hang from underneath. Again, doing that fairly freehand. I think I'm going to add a circle punch here as well. Now the Dear Lizzy ones, the circles look like they've been cut out freehand, and I'm very reluctant to cut things out freehand, but you could definitely do it. Or my other trick would be to punch the circle out larger than you would like it to be, and then just trim around certain areas so it looks like you've cut the whole thing out freehand, but you do have a bit of a guide. I ended up switching out the scallop punch for a straight circle, which is what the Dear Lizzy brads do, as you can see at the top right of that little one. And then I add the two banners, and again, just freehand cutting those. It's sort of not a straight line, so I am just sort of adding a little bit of thickness at one end and trimming down to a thinner end at the bottom, and then just using some glossy accent to adhere. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Do keep an eye out, as I'll be doing a giveaway really soon, and I'll be including some of the brads that I made as part of the pack to give away. So thanks again for watching. Thumbs up if you like this video, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more, and join me in upcoming upcoming videos or next Friday for Fab Find Friday, and I'll include some still shots at the end. Thanks again for watching.